Hey, 10-minute daily reality check. Wow, it's amazing. Every single day you learn something new. On Thursday, you learned about how to make millions and millions of dollars in cryptocurrency. On Friday, you learned about the undominant finger game. The undominant finger game. You know, Greg, talking about the undominant finger, have you ever tried to finger a woman with the undominant finger?
No, because then you think it's too small. But then the reality is it's got nothing to do with the size, right? It's about the motion down there when you're using.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't think the pinky can even hit the G spot. I think it's a
Yeah,
little too short.
they got a little carpal tunnel syndrome going on. It'd be a little difficult to kind of twist it around.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, no, yeah, it's not strong enough to really hit it hard. I mean, if you think about like if you go like this, you put your hand, you make a fake vagina, and then you kind of put your hand in there like this, right? And you kind of move it like that. That undominant finger can only be used, if you heard yesterday's show, can only be used at gas stations and on elevators. And sometimes, if you want to work the undominant finger and give it a workout, you can open up a door with it. It's kind of fucking cool.
It's good. It's important to have pinky strength.
It is. It's good to have pinky strength. Today, though, we're going to talk about something different. You've been watching a new addiction. Your daughter got you into this newest show called Black Mirror.
Right. I know. It happened last weekend, and they're like, "Oh, you got to see it." And then she's 14, and I'm like, "Okay." And I watched one episode, and she fell asleep on the couch, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" Now I'm like, I just have to see them all. It's so good.
What do you think of it? I mean, the one that you watched was the rating system, and I think I've talked about this when I first.
No, it's called Nosedive.
What do you think? What do you think of that whole thing? Remember, she was driving the car to go to the wedding, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I
No,
mean,
this is where they have a contact lens that goes in. This is in the future, and everybody you see has a rating. So if you look at somebody, it's like has their face like a profile picture on Facebook. Charles, and he's like your barista, and he's like a 4.2. And you have your phone in your hand. Oh, thank you so much for my coffee. And then they grab their phone and they swipe it to give him a rating. Like fives.
yep.
And then he smiles back at her and swipes it and gives her fives. And everybody's trying to get their rating up. And the only way you can get she's trying to get into this really exclusive apartment community. And the only way she can get in is she's a 4.5 or better, and she's only a 4.2. So then she has to go on a mission on how she's going to get herself around a circle of higher 4.5s in order to get her rating up in order to be able to get this apartment.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And she becomes obsessed about it, right? And then she's going to go to this wedding. And then she shows up at the wedding. I think she had a muddy dress on or something happened or her car broke down and she couldn't get the rent-a-car.
She started to snap. Like she went to get on her flight. They'd canceled her flight. And she dropped an F-bomb to the to the lady behind the counter.
Yes, and she got her rating down.
That's right. And the cop comes up and he's like, I'm going to penalize you. I'm going to give you a 24-hour 1-point penalty. And the cop has this power, right, to be able to decrease her rating. And now she's a 3.2. And at a 3.2, you can barely do anything. She couldn't even rent a car. They put her in a little shitty car because her rating was so low. So it was fascinating to watch how the director and the producer put this whole thing together. And I thought of you instantly, right? Because you and I are out there talking about perceptions and how these guys want to meet all these people and they want to be perceived as being this mega stud, but they can't figure it out. When the reality is, let me finish my thought.
Go ahead.
At the very end, she ends up losing everything. And she's like a half a point. Like she's just decimated herself. And she finally snaps. And all she's screaming at this other guy across in the prison cell, I hate your fucking face. And he's like, you know what? You're fucking fat. And they go back and forth. And it was the whole thing about fuck you. And the whole reality was that people just wanted to say, I don't give a shit. Fuck off. And nobody was really mad. They really weren't mad at each other. They were kind of laughing because it wasn't allowed in society. And I think that's a big problem for people now because everybody's so worried about what other people think that they're just afraid one day to be like, you know what? You're just fucking not working for me. I'm okay with that. I'll move on.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, this is what's interesting, okay? So everybody is afraid of other people's judgment, if you think about it, right? We live in, remember in the movie Defending Your Life, there was Judgment City, right? And that was before social media. But if you think about the reality of this, aren't we doing this anyway right now? Aren't we posting things for validation? Aren't we posting things to connect with other people? Aren't we posting things to be judged by other people? Aren't we actually allowing other people to judge us? I mean, the other day I was watching the Philadelphia Eagles parade, right? And it was in front of the Rocky, the library in front of the Rocky building where the steps were Rocky, ran up. And it was amazing. Like, even though this is being filmed by one of the biggest, news organizations in the world, ESPN, CNN, I mean, all the cameras are there, right? You've got all these guys up there on the perimeter of the stage, getting ready to talk, filming themselves there. After the Super Bowl, and I talked about this the other day in the podcast as well, they were filming themselves. Remember that? They were kissing the trophy and filming themselves, right?
Yeah.
Isn't this what we're doing anyway? Aren't we putting our lives out there so people can comment on it, and we hope we get some form of validation? And in reality, if we don't get validation, aren't we feeling like we've lost a point or two anyway?
Yeah, but we're all hopeful that if we continue to put ourselves out there and get that validation, and I have this problem big time with my oldest daughter because she's way too heavy on Facebook and really concerned about crafting what she puts out there to make sure she gets that kind of positive feedback. And it's detrimental, man. It's not helping her at all. It's making it much worse for her. I wish she would just be like, I don't give a shit, and move on, because it'd be a lot easier. So it doesn't surprise me that these athletes are out there throwing up that kind of information just so they can get everybody to be like, wow, look, here I am, Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah, but have we become, Black Mirror is, that episode of Black Mirror is going to happen. I mean, we're all going to rate people one day. We already do it on Yelp.
Yeah, yeah, you are getting rated. I mean, look at Google, man. I had this whole discussion about this the other day. Google one day will be your resume. People are going to perceive you as to who you are based on what your Google review is. That's way too much power.
Wow.
Nobody wants to get their own opinion of me or you. I mean, this is prominent in the dating world, right? What's the first thing a woman does when she dates a guy? She gets home. What's the first thing she does? Google him up.
Google's him.
Let's go check his Facebook profile. Let's go find out if he's married. Let's see if he's hiding something, rather than just enjoying the moment and realizing that, hey, you know what? The guy in front of me seemed like a really good guy. Everybody's so nervous that they're going to get screwed, or at the same time, they're not want to make sure that, does the guy have a good job? Is he socially secure? What's his pictures look like? And they're going to base their whole opinion on what his online profile is, which, coming back to what we're talking about, may be totally fabricated because he's like the gal on Nosedive, right?
Well, I think everybody's fabricating their lives. I mean, if you look at online dating and stuff, it's all fabricated. I mean, it's the hero version. It's what people want. I mean, how many times everybody's spontaneous and in shape? The fuck, the world is not spontaneous. Yeah. Most people are so unspontaneous, it's unbelievable. Yet when you read, I've read tens of thousands of profiles, and I've written probably thousands of profiles for clients, and I've answered probably 50,000 texts and emails from clients for clients. And I read through all these profiles, and all I ever think about to myself is, are you fucking kidding me? Not everybody, a guy in Michigan goes, I love to take a walk on the beach. You do? Where? Okay. What beach? Around Lake Michigan? I get it, right? It's December, okay? I love to go and do spontaneous things, yet they've never traveled anywhere. So really, what have you done spontaneous? You went to the fucking 7-Eleven and you spontaneously bought a Big Gulp one day, so that counts as spontaneity. It is just out of control, and I think everybody is putting this illusion. Not only that, if you look at Yelp, it's funny. The other day we were looking at, and don't make fun, okay?
Okay.
We're looking at adjustable beds.
Okay, I have to make fun. You were looking at an adjustable bed?
Do not make fun, okay?
Well,
not make fun.
Okay, never mind. I'll stop talking.
Do not make fun, okay? Because if you think about it, you're lying in bed and you can have the zero gravity thing, right? So we were looking and we started reading the reviews. And I said to her, I said, these reviews could be written by like 90-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly.
Who have nothing better to do. But yet the pictures are people younger. So adjustable beds are going to be really hot. I'm telling you, it's going to be a new fucking trend. Don't make fun of me. But it's amazing when you read these reviews. You read like Amazon reviews. You read reviews on restaurants. Who are these fucking people and why are we even listening to them? It's like, I don't know who Amy S. is from Sacramento, yet she told me not to buy these sheets. Like, right. I have no idea if Amy has good taste. Or Jim Williams says, don't go eat at this restaurant. The burritos are better at the other restaurant. Meanwhile, this guy could be sitting around eating fucking McDonald's and doesn't know the burrito from a fucking Big Mac, right? So we are all into judging and evaluating each other. It's our culture nowadays. And I just don't know where it's going to go, because it's not going anywhere really good.
I think it's going to have a backlash. I think people are starting to realize that they're all going to, it's going to eventually reach a fuck you society where people are just going to be like, you know what? I really don't fucking care what you think of me anymore, because it's exhausting. It's exhausting to keep that kind of lifestyle going. That was the whole point to my daughter. That's the point to some of these people on Facebook that they post every fucking day. How exhausting is that? I mean, could you imagine? What's going to happen? Eventually people are just going to wake up and they're going to be like, I can't deal with this anymore. Why do you think people are going back to flip phones? I got a friend of mine, Jeep, still got a fucking flip phone. Never had a smartphone.
Really?
Yeah, no, he's still got a flip phone. And the thing is beat to hell. Looks like it's 10 years old. And he just, when he texts me, it's always comical because he's got to push the button 3 or 4 times. There's no access to the internet. He's like, if people want to call me, they can call me. And that's it. Because he just doesn't want to be connected that way. He wants to be out there making, having real conversation, meeting in people in an engaging way and not being distracted.
Okay, so let's give him a challenge, okay? It's Saturday, okay? I give you a challenge. Tomorrow there's nothing going on. There's no football. Yeah, maybe there's basketball. Who gives a shit? Maybe there's hockey. The weather might be cold. Whatever it might be. Puxatawny Phil says there's 6 more weeks of winter. We didn't check to see what that little midget Puxatawny Phil had to say, right?
Right. Anyway.
Plus, it's got to be Puxatawny Phil like 17 at this point. It can't be the original Puxatawny Phil. There has to be like the great grandson of the original Puxatawny Phil, because this is a tradition from the 1800s. Well, let's give you a challenge, okay? A challenge, depending on what time you listen to this. Why don't you spend the rest of your day not rating, not judging, not trying to seek validation, and especially not writing anything on the internet? Why don't you put your phone down, turn it off, and go out and actually have conversations with people and get to know somebody without Googling them. If you have a date this weekend, don't Google them first. Allow them to present themselves to you. Try something different this weekend. Go back to the days of Jeep. Yeah, Jeep. When Jeep used to be a Grand Cherokee and not, like a real the Grand Wagoneer. Remember those with the wood siding?
Those are the best.
Hey, question for you, though, before we leave. Do you watch This Is Us?
I have not.
What a tearjerker.
I don't know if I like tearjerkers. I like upbeat.
I know. What a tearjerker. One of the best ones ever. All right, so that's your challenge. Greg will be back.
People should do this once a month. You should take a day, a sabbatical day. It's 1 day a month. Shut it all down, man. And then go out and just walk around. Go meet people.
Go talk to people. Go connect with people. Get to know people. Get to know their names. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Sunday. Do me a favor. If you ever want to contact either one of us, you can go to my website, david@davidwygant.com. You can reach Greg there too as well. I do strongly suggest, this is just a subliminal suggestion, that to keep this podcast rolling along, and we want more people listening. We want more people engaged. And we've got some cool guests coming up this week. We'll be talking money, sex, wealth, wellness, healthness, and we'll talk more about the undominant finger game another day. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.